There's not an ounce of our body that doesn't love Huxley with all of our being. There wasn't a minute that I didn't try our hardest, and numerous medical professionals had felt that he needed a different fit in his medical needs. He needed more.
Hello and welcome back to Drama Investigator. Today we are going to be doing another deep investigation into Myka and James Stauffer, popular YouTubers who rehomed their autistic son after using him for clickbait for years and profiting off him to grow their social media brand. So more information has come to light, their lawyers have spoken out, an ex-coworker has exposed Myka, former lawsuits have come to light, information on just how much Myka and James profited off their adopted son has been exposed. There's also been images and videos of him disappearing from their channel. And also fans are questioning where actually is this little boy at the moment, and is he okay? So Myka and her husband James have decided it would be a good idea to get a lawyer, seeing as they can't handle the amount of backlash they're getting for coming out and exposing that they had essentially gotten rid of their adopted autistic son, because apparently he was too hard for them to deal with. So they have this lawyer who's allegedly going around trying to shut down everyone online who tries to speak badly about their situation or tries to get in contact with their sponsors. In a statement to People magazine, their lawyer had said, "This is devastating news for any parent. Our clients came to the difficult determination to follow the advice of the medical professionals. To be clear, this did not include any considerations for placement in the foster system, but rather to hand-select a family who is equipped to handle Huxley's needs. They were forced to make a difficult decision, but it is in fact the right and loving thing to do for this child. We have advised our clients not to say anything further at this time, but it is likely they will share more when the time is appropriate for them and all involved. We should be clear that Huxley is a 4-year-old child whose privacy should be fully respected. We know our clients would ask for your prayers and support and to respect their privacy with what has been the most difficult decision of their lives." So basically the couple and profited off this little boy's diagnosis while he was in their custody. They were able to buy a brand new house, flash new cars, and the little boy was not given any sort of financial gain. Like, I know he's a little boy, but they could have put money in a trust for him or something, maybe some money towards a college fund, but no, he got nothing out of the YouTube brand that they made off him. Now, what would an investigation be without receipts and evidence? Heavy.com leaked the property information on the house that Myka and James bought, which was not long after adopting their son, you know, when their videos started going viral and they started getting more sponsorships and their channel took off, etc. So here we can see that they had purchased their new 4-bedroom home in 2017 for $670,000 US. It was in some nice suburb in Delaware. Now that's a huge upgrade from the home that they were originally in such a short amount of time too, from when they adopted their son. Myka and James have 2 YouTube channels between them and are still making hundreds of thousands of dollars annually. There's Stauffer Garage, James's car cleaning channel with just under 1 million subscribers, that's still making around $289,000 US a year, and then Myka Stauffer's channel was making around the same amount, probably more, but don't worry, her social blade is next to non-existent because human beings don't actually like people who expect adopted children for clout. Now Myka was also constantly complaining on her YouTube channel about how expensive it was to get her adopted son the help he needed, but at the same time she had these huge spending habits and didn't mind boasting about her designer clothes and luxury cars online, but when it came to the health of her own son, that wasn't something she was willing to invest in. Now former fans have been doing background checks on Myka and have found out some really dodgy stuff about her past that shows that she's always been a really bad person, even long before she rehomed her adopted son. So she used to be a nurse and she wasn't registered for that long either. Apparently she physically assaulted a pregnant co-worker and made multiple medical errors, which resulted in multiple lawsuits to the facility where she was employed. Now this is all public information that's just been hiding for quite some time. I managed to find the court document which exposes this alleged assault. It states, thereafter, plaintiff was involved in a public disagreement with a non-pregnant co-worker, Myka Belisari. Following the incident, Belisari, who was a new hire with no prior disciplinary history, was immediately moved to a final written warning. Plaintiff, on the other hand, was terminated, which was the next disciplinary step based upon her disciplinary history. Now the following screenshots were posted on a public forum. They were of messages from the nurse that Myka allegedly exposing what Myka had done to her. Well, you're on the right path. I can't speak for her now, but then I wouldn't have trusted her with my cat. She was beyond manipulative at work. Tried to me with a med cart while I was pregnant. She had multiple med errors and lied to cover a bunch of stuff. I left, so I don't know what terms she left on, etc. She claimed her husband as a doctor. She deaf shouldn't have kids if she's even halfway the same as she was back then. She worked at a nursing home with me when all of this went on, deaf not oncology, with Gary PTS, so I can't imagine her ever making it in oncology nursing. I had no idea she was doing any of what she is into. Doesn't surprise me, she always painted this perfect little picture, and being better than everyone else. I'd feel bad for the kids being homeschooled. There's lifelong effects that will be damn near impossible to reverse. Yeah, I had no idea what she was doing. After the incident happened, I left. They tried to fire me. I went after the nursing home at Myka. There were 5 upper management personnel fired from the nursing home as a result of what happened with me. As I laid it all out there, 2 families that she had med errors on, their loved ones went after the facility as well about the same time. I had my son shortly after all this happened, 2 months, and didn't go back into nursing until he was almost 2. My case ended up settling 2 days before court, so I have no idea whatever happened to her, but I can see her being exactly like you were saying. She tried to have aides do things way out of scope. Her looks and manipulation is definitely what got her through. Def not working ethically. Had a few issues with the pregnancy after all that went on, but here's a happy, healthy 7-year-old now, and I'm due any day now with twins. Now I understand there's always 2 sides to every story, but with how she's treated her former adopted son, taping his thumbs down, making him go to bed earlier than all of her biological children, filming his meltdowns for the world to see.
He has had multiple meltdowns.
Not having a good day today.
We never tell you guys the truth. And that's why you don't see Huxley a lot in the vlog. He's probably having a meltdown.
Not getting him the best healthcare he needed, and the list goes on. It really makes you question what kind of a person Myka is. So to add to the recent events, former fans are outraged and they are trying their best to get Myka's channel shut down and contacting her current sponsors. Most of Myka's sponsors have cut ties with Myka and have made it publicly known. A former brand who worked with Myka had said, "We have previously worked with Myka Stauffer and are no longer working with her. We are aware of the news she shared about her family and are very sad to hear about this difficult situation." Kate Hudson's brand has also cut ties with Myka too, alongside most of her sponsors. Now Myka Stauffer proved herself the ultimate Karen when she crowdfunded an adoption of the 2-year-old with autism from China. She exploited him and his meltdowns for praise on YouTube. Now if we rewind back to 2018, when things were working out well financially for Myka and her husband, they decided they wanted to adopt again, but not before complaining online about their little boy. She had posted to China Adoption Questions Facebook group, "We are going back for our second adoption and wanted to see if anyone has written a blog post or has a good article on picking a child. I want this time to feel like it just happened, versus searching for a child. Any good reads, please send them my way. Our son adopted from China is very delayed but is obsessed with food. I understand the reasoning. However, even if he just ate, he always stares at everyone when they eat. You can't eat food without him watching you eat, even if he has food in front of him. Has anyone experienced this? Does it lessen with time? And it drives my husband bonkers. Would love to hear some personal experiences of adopting out of birth order. Good and bad experiences, please. We are praying about an older child right now and really want to educate ourselves on all we need to know. Thank you. We are praying about adopting again, and my husband wanted me to ask, what special needs would you consider minor or relatively easy to manage that most people wouldn't consider easy?" Now Myka has officially taken down all the videos and images of her adopted son off social media, which is a good thing because they were still profiting off him for a while, which sucks. And it also sucks that they only decided to take down all the content after being called out for leaving it up and monetizing it. So where has Myka and James's adopted son been placed? Is he in safe hands? That's what everyone's wondering. So much so to the point that multiple people have made inquiries to the Delaware County Sheriff's Office, and the sheriff there thought it would be necessary to make a public statement about this, seeing as they were constantly getting flooded with questions, constantly asking about the little boy. The statement reads, "The Delaware County Sheriff's Office has received several inquiries regarding the welfare of a local 5-year-old child who was recently given up for adoption. This child is not missing. Our primary concern is for the well-being of this child, as well as other children in the household. Our investigation is ongoing and will include contact with all children to ensure their safety. All adoption cases are confidential and must go through a thorough process with specific requirements and safeguards. In private adoptions, there are the same legal requirements that must be adhered to. These include home studies as well as background checks on the adopting parents. In this case, we are confident that the appropriate process is occurring. In addition, both parties are being represented by attorneys to ensure full compliance with the court process. Due to the confidential nature of this case, We will not be releasing any specific information or further comment. So basically, from what we are being told, Myka has hand-selected the next person to parent this child, which in legal terms is called a private adoption, instead of going through the whole adoption agency process, where the agency would select his next guardian. It's all still a legal process though, there's background checks involved, which is a positive. However, there's so many implications with the fact that Myka has personally decided and picked his next parent. So what are your thoughts on all of this information that's been brought to light? Let me know in the comments.